Hey, Period Griffith here, providing cutting-edge professional development for dance educators to help you to teach your dance classes with more confidence, more effectiveness, more ease, and more joy and passion, right? So today we are talking to tap dance teachers about clean tap routines, right? That's what we are talking about. This is a big topic, important topic, when we were thinking about getting our students up onto the stage with their own confidence and effectiveness, ease and fun, right? We want them to be having fun up there. We want them to look good and we want them to sound good, right? So how do we, as dance educators, make that happen? That's what this topic is all about today. Now, I am offering the opportunity for some teachers to get some hot seat evaluation of their tap routines with me. If you are interested in that, be sure that you are subscribed to my email list for an opportunity to learn how to do just that, how to send me a tap routine, and you and I can jump on Zoom and go through your tap routine, and I can give you whatever helpful feedback that I can. All right, so for everybody today, I want to be talking about this overarching topic of clean tap routines. This is such an important topic for several reasons, right? We know what these reasons are, but I'm just going to talk a little bit about them. One, looking at my notes, first of all, this is the routines that we put up on stage at the end of a year, in a recital, in a concert, in a dance competition. These are reflections, just one reflection, because it's not everything, but it's one reflection of our students' progress over time, right? And so we want it to be a good reflection of their progress, right? And it's also a reflection of our work as professionals, right? That we want to make sure that we are representing ourselves in our skill sets as professional dance educators in the best possible light. And we want what we put up on stage to reflect that, right? We want our abilities to bring the best out of our students to be reflected on stage, right? So these are two important things, but also this is a place that I found over the years, the stage is a place where I could get more interest in tap dance in general. People love tap dance performances, right? And so if I put up good work, if my students are having fun up there and they sound good and they look good and all these things, then more people are signing up for my classes, right? So if you're even just on the strength of like looking to boost your enrollments, sustain your enrollments, right? Having solid tap performances is going to help you to do just that, right? So today I want to ask an overarching question, right? So again, we're dance educators doing this work, right? So we're not just choreographers, right? Because choreographers, just, for me in a professional setting, you get hired to do what you can do, right? A casting director, choreographers come in and they hire people who can do the job. But that's not who we are, right? We're working with people who are interested in learning how to tap dance and trying to help them to bring, an idea or a vision that we have to life. We want to help them to shine and learn in the process, right? So it's not the same as just being a choreographer who's like, I want all of this to happen. Who can do it? If you can do my vision, then you can be hired, right? That's not the position we're in. We're being educators in the work, right? So I want us to be thinking about how we are evaluating the routines. How are we evaluating the routine? So you're the dance teacher and you're sitting back and you're watching and you're listening to the piece that you've choreographed or the piece that you're cleaning. Maybe somebody else choreographed it and you're listening to it and you're watching it. What in your mind is solid? What in your mind is good? What in your mind is great or excellent for a tap routine? Right? Do you have some ideas in your head? I know you have ideas in your head, but I want you to really be able to articulate what those ideas are, right? To really have a clear idea in your head about what these things are. And I will give you some ideas from my vantage point about this. And I'll say this question, not one, because it's obvious. It's an obvious question, right? But it's also something that is important for us to remember, again, that we are working with students and they will work to the level, oftentimes they'll work to the level that we set. They'll work to the level that we set, right? If we set a target, they'll aim for that target, right? So, if I go to a trainer and I say, listen, I've had a couple of kids and I, gained 50, 60 pounds in these pregnancies and none of the weight has come off. I need help with that. The trainer is going to work towards that aim of like losing the baby weight. I had ab drama, like diastasis and like all these other things, like too much information, right? But I have like abdominal things that I'm like, my abs have not gone back, it's like C-sections, can you help me to fix my core? Can you help me to heal my core after pregnancy? The trainer is going to aim for that, right? The trainer's going to aim for that. So just to give you that idea of like, the students are going to aim for what we are setting, right? And they're going to direct their energy towards what we ask them to direct their energy toward. They might have some other ideas in their head about ways that it might be better, but at the end of the day, they're going to aim for what we set, right? And so if you're aiming for X, they're going to aim for X, right? So let's talk about what some of those things might be. I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to say to you that your sounds, your rhythms, and the timing of the routine that you have put together or you're cleaning should be the #1 priority. If you teach musical theater, you teach 42nd Street Psych, and you're like, well, I do Broadway tap, or that's my style of choreography. I'm all about a full show. You too, right? I know what that is. I know what that work is. I've done that kind of work. I was a Rockette for almost 5 years. I understand that work. And in that realm too, sounds. Priority, top priority. That's what I'm going to go ahead and say to you. So for some of you, that's very obvious. For some of you, that might feel challenging. And I want you to like lean into that challenge and explore it, even if it makes you like uncomfortable as a teacher, because that's not usually the way that you work in clean routines, right? So if you're the person that goes in and the #1 thing on your list is staging, and the #1 thing, it's like the spacing isn't right, the lines aren't straight, the arms aren't together, everybody didn't move their head at the same time. If those are the things that you're spending your time on, you're missing an opportunity, right? Tap dance, the unique thing, one of the unique, amazing features of tap dance in performance or in any setting really, is that we are creating rhythm and music with our feet. Whether it's like a dee-dee-da, like whether it's that, in a musical theater setting or whether it's something more sophisticated than that, you are creating rhythm and music. That's the feature. That's the feature. So if you bypass that in your cleaning to be like arms, spacing, arms, clean it up. And if that's where you're spending your time, you're missing that opportunity. I can tell you as a competition judge that there were times when you're juggling a lot, you're watching a lot of routines and, you got to pass notes down or you got to enter your stuff into the computer and the next routine is starting, right? And I know it's a tap routine, so I know I can start by listening. And so I've had routines that perked my ear up before I even got to see the dancers that I thought, whoa, hey, okay, and I look up with a smile because I can already hear the music happening from the stage and I know I'm going to see something great, right? There's a solid, strong technician up there and I can't wait to hear more, right? So tap dance can pique the ear, right? I've had people that have gone through my tap teacher training program, the Tap Teachers Lounge, and say that all of a sudden, the sounds that are coming from my classes have got parents crowding around the door. I know in pandemic era, nobody's crowding around anything, right? But just imagine pre-pandemic that, your class is so popping that in the lobby, the sounds are so intriguing that you've got parents going, what's going on in that class? Wow. And being impressed by what they heard before they saw anything. And that is one of the gifts of tap dance, right? That you actually can get your audience's attention in a different way. In a recital setting where you have all kinds of styles, tap dance has this huge advantage. So I want you to take advantage of it. Spend the time on the sounds. It's tap dance, sounds first. Even if that's not your usual habit, sounds first. Sounds first. Now, because on the other hand, so there's the great side of it that you can get your audience to lean in and listen. On the flip side of it, you can also make your audience lean back by the sounds of clack, noise, right? You can turn off your audience with clack, clack, clack mess. You can turn I've done it as a young teacher, right? I remember watching one of my first routines that I choreographed and I did too much with the choreography and I was demonstrating so much the whole time. I wasn't really helping them to be very independent. So when it came, a few weeks before the show, I was expecting them to do it by themselves and they couldn't. And they were looking at me lost, like these little lost Bambis out there that couldn't do it because I failed them, I guess. I'm like, that's what has come to my head, and I feel terrible to say that. But I didn't set them up to succeed. I didn't set them up to be independent and confident on stage. I didn't do it, right? And I knew I didn't do it, and I was standing there like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Now, the crazy thing about tap dance is that it can look off, like, okay, spacing is off and da-da-da, but it can also sound wonky, right? People can land a leap at different times, and it doesn't like completely throw things off, right? For people to land slightly at different times, but it really matters in tap dance. That kind of precision is required. So I remember as a young, teacher being like, oh my God, it can look bad, but it can also sound bad. Like, oh no, like, and how do I pull this together, right? And so that's one of the things I've worked with, obviously worked on myself on over time in my career as a dance educator. Now I help other teachers to do in the Tap Teachers Lounge program. And I would tell you that if you are a teacher who's habitually been very focused on the look, the arms, the performance, energy, all those things, I am a big fan of those things. Anybody who knows my dancing particularly knows that I am a full body dancer. I love to give the energy. I love all of that stuff on stage. And I can tell you as an educator, beyond a performer, that it's possible to get it all done. You have a short class. It's possible to get it all done, but the musicality, the rhythm, and the timing must be one of those big rocks that you put into the jar first, right? If you want to know what I'm talking about, go back and look at, I have on my YouTube channel, I have a video, habit number 3, 7 habits of highly effective dance educators. And it's about prioritization in a class. First things first. You put the big rocks in first, then you have room for the sand, then you have room for smaller rocks, etc. But if you go in, you can spend tons of time on arms and these things, but look up and you still miss the opportunity to do what tap dance can uniquely do, right? So I don't want you to miss that opportunity. Now, one of the key things is about becoming more effective as an educator, more effective and efficient in cleaning the work, right? So because if you can get the cleaning done, you can get the sounds done, you can get the cleaning done, and you can also get the other things in. It can all fit if we are working with effectiveness and with a level of efficiency, especially if you're in a short class. But if you're like, oh my gosh, it takes me so long to clean these arms, that I look up and I go, oh, they'll get the timing later, right? That's not the way that we want tap dance to work if we really want to feature the best things about tap dance. Right? We want it to be, these sounds are so engaging, these rhythms are so engaging. And of course, we also have a performance. We put it up on stage as performance work. We do want to think about how we're presenting it, right? And being thoughtful about the presentation as well. There is room for both, but you cannot sacrifice the sounds, right? That's what makes tap dance tap dance. And if you need help with being more effective, more efficient, then you get that help as an educator to bring the best out of your students and to get it done a little faster. I've had people in my program say, my students have gotten better faster. They're cleaner faster. It's possible to do that. So I don't want you to feel like there's just not enough time, right? There is enough time. We as educators can hone our skills to make sure that we're bringing the best features of tap dance out in our students' sounds first. Right? So again, just to recap, like when we're thinking about this, what makes a solid routine? We have to make those determinations of like, what's solid? What are we putting out there that's solid? What are we putting out there that's good? And what would make this routine great, right? The routine's good. What might make it great? What might make it a standout in this competition or in this recital or whatever, or in this, community performance? What might make this a standout performance? Right? And how do we take those things to the next level? But we cannot get there without the sounds being the priority in tap dance. We can't get there without it, right? Sounds first, then look, performance, energy, etc. We can get it all done. We need to be as effective and efficient as possible to get those things done. So if you don't have that rock in first, sounds first, I'm going to urge you to like mess around with your jar. Watch that video, habit number 3 on my YouTube channel, so you can learn what I'm talking about here. I do this experiment with my daughters so you can see it. But you do put in that priority of timing first. So if you're looking at how much time do I have today in this tap class to clean this routine, make sure the sounds are tight. Get the sounds clean, the sounds solid. And then you have time for the rest. You can be effective enough, you can be efficient enough to put together the whole beautiful package that is tap dance to make your routine stand out in a spectacular and engaging way. We can do it, you can do it, right? Again, if you want to have a hot seat with me, have me take a look at one of your routines and get some feedback, I would love to give it to you. Make sure that you are on my email list, karitagriffith.com. You can go to the button that says subscribe now to get onto my email list. You can do it there. I'll put a link below this video to do that. If you don't see a link, or if you can't get to the link, or technology is doing what it does, karitagriffith.com, go to that and click the subscribe now button and make sure that you're on my email list, because that is how you will find out about the opportunity to do a hot seat with me, where I will take a look at one of your routines and give you some feedback to help you to take your tap routines to the next level. Here is to clean tap routines. More on this topic to come, and have a great one.